Welcome back to the family channel. Yep, we're back to cooking with Abba, and I'm so glad you're able to join in today. Yes, today we're going to learn another traditional, local, authentic Ghanaian dish. So today we're going to be looking at ta-da! Yeah, so today we're looking at Aboboi authenticated. Aboboi dear. And one Tatale and I say Kaklo. Hwentia crab brother yache. But you're going to learn authenticated Aboboi by Abba's Kitchen, and then some Tatale. To kick off, you need to pre-soak your Aboboi. Yes, usually if you do it overnight, it helps you. So I did this the night before. What I did was I rinsed it up. Then I took away the debris. So you try and then wash it to get rid of the dust, the dirt, and all those ones. Then you'll be taking the debris or the spoiled ones or the ones about spoiling. Yes. So when you're done with that, you can wash about twice. Just take away the debris. And then what I do to help it soak well is I add some baking soda. So baking soda helps us soften earlier and also helps you get rid of a bit of gas inside. I soak with some baking soda and I use hot water to soak it because our boy is very tough. Then you have to soak it way earlier, about 24 hours or 12 hours before, so you get it softer. Else you end up using more gas or more cooking time. Yes. So the quickest way to do it is to add some baking soda. Then you can foil it. You can decide to add a little bit of apple cider in there if you want to. If you don't have a baking soda, please just use your hot water. You'll be okay. So that's basically all the things we'll be needing for your Aboboi, our key ingredients. So to kick off, let's look at our ingredients and let's look at what's going in there. So our main ingredients, which is our pre-soaked Bambara beans, our overnight soaked Bambara beans, some overly ripe plantain, some flour, some palm oil, onion, mackerel optional, some pepper, garlic, local nutmeg, hwentia, hwentia, powdered ginger, powdered pepper, some salt, some cloves, and some black pepper, some powdered ginger in there as well. So we start off by cooking our Bambara beans. Yes, you want to cook your Bambara beans first, which we've already pre-soaked. To be say I want to find it too until you drain off the old water. You're not going to use that water to cook it. You want to scoop out your beans and then you add hot water to it and then you let it cook. You're not going to add any salt now. You add salt when it's about finishing cooking. So you're not going to use the old water. You're going to discard that one. So once you get your hot water in, which is going to help you save more cooking time and save more gas. So you cover it up and you allow it to boil. So once that is taking care of itself, you move to your Tatale. You can blend or grind your ingredients. So I use the sanka here. So I grinded the pepper with the garlic. Yes, I started with the pepper and the garlic. That's just what's the thing for me a bit. Then I added in the local spices. So the nutmeg, local nutmeg, the hwentia, the cloves, and the black pepper. They are a bit tough, so sometimes you may want to hit it a bit or crush it a bit, so you'll be able to grind it. Don't be too concerned about getting it fine at the initial. As you grind it, it's going to become fine over time. Then you add in your onion and you grind that as well. So once that would even make it a bit easy as you grind. So when the onion goes in, you grind as well. Then you add in your salt and then your ginger. I use ginger powder here. So I added the salt and the ginger powder and I grinded it all together. And once that was done, I went on to add our plantain, our overly ripe plantain. So you can use your asanka and tapoli to mash that up, or you can use your potato masher. If you don't have a potato masher, don't feel left out. You can just use a fork to do that. Until asanka for asanka mash, wodra for wodro wo brody no. Yeah, will be able to make or tatale no. You can either pound it with your mortar and your pestle. Actually, the quantity is quite a lot. So once that is done, we're going to start by heating our pan and our oil, our palm oil. Then I add a bit of onion and a bit of ginger powder and my mackerel. So I'm just using this as a side. Yes, you can try, it's optional, you can try two or not. It's like a side to the Aboboi. So I can try to just eat this, just Aboboi and Tatale, or you can just add an egg or something. Whatever I want to do is up to you. So I'm going to incorporate the flour in the Aboboi, and what you'd want to do is to fold it in nicely and do it gently. And please don't mix all your flour in at once. Do it in bits. So you add in your flour in bits. It's very, very essential. Do well to fold it in bits. You can always start by pre-frying. So if you think it's tough, you can add in more plantain. If you think it's too loose, you can add in more flour, but just do it bit by bit. So once that is done, our sauce is done, we pour it out. Then we go to frying our tatale. So you scoop and use your spoon or a fork to flatten it a bit. You don't want it, you want it flat. Tatale is meant to be flat, and you shallow fry it. So you don't need so much oil. It's not a deep fry dish. So that's what you're going to do. Yes, I always say fry your first batch first, or you can fry one first to see. So if you are new to it, if you think it's too soft, then you add in a bit more flour. Yes, so if you're new to it, just take your time and try one out first before you finish mixing the rest. So you want to do a flat, and as that is cooking, you're going to check on your beans. So you realize your beans will still be tough. Bambara beans, it takes a lot of time. Bambara beans, they're jiaitaje. Then you turn your tatale nicely. Once you realize it's a bit, it's browning. Yes, after about 3-4 minutes, you can turn it around. On the end, you realize that it's browning up a bit. Then you turn it. So you realize this was very, 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 very soft. The first batch was very soft. So what I did was I added the rest of the flour I left initially to it, the subsequent batches, and that came a bit firmer. My bambara is still cooking. It's a bit tough as always, so I add in more hot water. The hot water will save me cooking time and gas. Yeah, if you're using electricity, if you want to save your energy, so you use your hot water. And once you realize both sides of your tatale is brown, golden brown, is cooked, you just take it out. So you realize there's less oil. You don't do so much oil. No, it's a shallow fry dish. So once the oil is going down, you add a bit of it. Then you repeat the process. So you scoop your mix, you flatten it up a bit, and then you fry, and your tatale is ready for action in the mouth. Yes, so you realize you'll be done. Your bambara beans may not be. Yes, bambara beans take a bit of time. So yeah, my bambara beans were still cooking, and now it was softer. Yes, so when I checked and soft, then I added in the rest of the ingredients to it. You can try to leave it to thicken if you're not going to use anything. So you can just add your salt to it if you want to eat it with sugar. Some also want to eat it just like that, no spice, nothing inside. Yes, you can try to let it thicken till that point. But then I want to have it a bit tasty and spicy, So I added some ginger to it and some powdered pepper. And of course, I added some shredded onion in there to give it some fresh taste as well. Then I mixed it, incorporated it nicely, and I allowed it to thicken by itself on the fire. But then it was soft, so you need to check if your salt and everything is okay. If it's not, you can add a bit of salt. But because we're going to use the stock on it and we're going to pour it away, please use less salt as that. Don't go and pour so much salt in, it also become too salty. So just use a little salt because you're not going to drain the salt off. And this is your beautiful Aboboi with your mini mackerel sauce and your Tatale, which is sidelined by some gari. Yay! If you don't like gari, you can drop it. But then this is the dish to try. You easy or there bombazan ne esoshi. Oh yeah, del papa. Yes, sir. Akono Tatale na Aboboi dedo. Aha. So Aboboi actually can be used for quite a number of things. The Bambara beans, so you can cook it, you can use it for soup, you can use it even for animal feed, you can roast it for a snack, and it's rich in a lot of nutrients. Bambara beans basically contain about 65% carbohydrates, 18% protein, and the rest are mostly amino acids. So when it comes to amino acids, we know that amino acids help us when it comes to solving issue about malnutrition, when it comes to insomnia. Yes, so people can sleep well and all those ones. You need to be eating more of this Aboboi. So when it comes to Aboboi, one of the benefits you get is that it helps when you are treating arthritis, guts, anemia. It's also solid when you want to solve malnutrition, and it has great antioxidant properties which are good for fighting cancer. And this are some of the reasons you'd want to eat more Aboboi, more Bambara beans or Bambara granite, as you'd want to call it. Yes. I hope you did like this Tatale and Aboboi recipe. So when you're at your hoza and Zumbastro, just hit your notification button. Just make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, you share, and most importantly, so much abra wusia recipe and the comment section hono natural at the how. If you have any challenge as you try this recipe out, please do well to come back to the channel. The comment section, just log it in. I'll do well to sort you out with my team. Yes, we are here to make life easier. So your special take home for today with the Aboboi recipe is that, yep, if you have issue with flatulence and you wanted to cook faster, sweetheart, just add some baking powder in it. If you don't have baking powder, you can pre-soak it. So there are two things. If you want to soften your beans, you can do a pre-soak about 8 hours before you cook it. But if you miss it, or that day you want to cook it there and then, just try using hot water instead. So don't use any cold water, just use hot water. That will fasten it for you. But then if you don't have access to that, sweetheart, just go with your warm water or your cold water. Another tip for today is with your Tatale. Yes, your Tatale, if you finish mixing and you realize it's a bit dense, what you can do is that when you're frying, try and then use your spoon to spread it out a bit. If it doesn't work, just add in an egg to bind it up. That's if it's too runny or if it's not forming. But do well to always mix it bit by bit. And for you not to burn it, please don't overly cook it. Yes. So I hope these tips come in handy. I hope your trials go out perfectly. Please don't be scared to ever try anything. Cooking is an art, so feel free to go by it. It's just guided by a few principles, but then it's an art. So make sure that you make your art beautiful. Make sure you make your art authentic. Add the things you want to add to it. Be free to experiment with it, but most importantly, do well to try this recipe. You can add in your chopped vegetables as well. but do well to like it, do well to subscribe, do well to share, do well to give this recipe a try. Live healthy, be happy, be joyous. Make sure together you join us, make the next food moment count. So lots of love from my team and I'll see you in our next food video. Mwah.